So just recently I got a gig at an outdoor space where I had to bring my own PA. And it wasn't super loud, it didn't need to be really heavy duty PA. Plus, it was just gonna be me, so I didn't want to have a bunch of heavy equipment that I had to deal with. I was already bringing my guitar, cables, mic stand, mic, my camera so I could record the gig, lyric sheets, songbooks, harmonicas, harmonica brace. So to bring a PA system, that's a lot of extra gear to carry, and then kind of load and unload the car and set it all up. So I wanted something that was a little less heavy duty. I already have this pile unit that I talked about in a prior video. This is fantastic. It even has, the ability to mount it on a PA stand, and it's got a bunch of inputs. It's pretty powerful. It's not the most amazing sound quality that you're ever going to hear, truth be told, but I've used this for playing outdoor gigs, busking outdoors. I played an outdoor show at a friend's barbecue on his deck. I played in Prospect Park a couple of times, played down at Brooklyn Pier. It's perfect for that. It really is a perfect piece of equipment and not that expensive. But this was a slightly bigger outdoor space and I wanted to look a bit more professional, so I wanted something a little heavier duty but not too heavy duty. I didn't want to spend a ton of money, so I went to Guitar Center, which is where I get a lot of my gear from, and I asked them what their recommendation was. They weren't massively enthused. The guy I spoke to, he felt like this particular model, this Harbinger, might be a little bit less than fully professional sound quality. He said you might get a little bit of a hiss or some white noise or some annoying degradation, but looking at the other options, heavier, more weighty, more expensive, and I wanted something that I could just bring to the gig and not worry too much about. And this seemed like a good compromise, and if it just didn't work out in the test, I could always bring it back and say, look, it's not fit for merchandisable quality and I want my money back. But I thought this was a pretty good deal. It's super small. I mean, it's just the two speakers in the PA unit. You've got the cables, 2 cables for each speaker, and the power cable, and that's it. 2 speakers, the mixer, and the cables. It's very, very small, and it's super compact and really easy to use. You've got 3 lines in. You've got a stereo left and right line in. You also have an aux line in if you want to use that. And then you have these 2, which can be mic, guitar, instrument, or a line in. So for me, acoustic guitar, 1 mic, that's perfect. If you wanted to go a little more heavy duty than that and you wanted to have a couple of guitars and maybe a couple of extra vocals, this might not be the unit for you, but for my purposes, this was perfect. This is perfect. You can control the high and the low end of the sound as well, and you can also add a little echo on each of the channels, and there's a master channel too, so you can control the mix and the master overall volume. It has the option of using one of the speakers as a monitor if you want to do that, so you can actually set one of these up facing you on the ground and the other one as a external PA speaker facing the audience, or you can just have them both left and right stereo. And the speakers have the hole in the bottom for mounting on a PA stand. It does not come with its own PA stand, but luckily I have spare PA stand for my practice space. So again, another piece of equipment to carry, which is why with the PA stands, the mic stands and everything else, I wanted something that was going to minimize the weight and the space and how much I had to deal with. And this is really perfect. In setting up the venue, I use the stereo out, which is about the only way to connect this to another PA system or another set of speakers. So that's not necessarily a limitation, but you can see that it's not really central to their design concept. It's not really a central feature. So if you want something that's going to be able to connect to more than 2 speakers and be able to connect to bigger sound system, this is probably not what you're looking for, but it works fairly well. So I took a stereo out here and I fed that into a DI box that the venue owner had, and that was feeding into their sound system. One of the limitations perhaps is it is an 1/8 inch out, one of these sizes, and a lot of the DI boxes or other external speakers you're going to connect to maybe don't take that connection necessarily, so you do have to have some sort of adapter. And I jury rigged something on the spot and it worked fine using an 1/8 inch cable and one of these 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapters, which I'm sure it works fine, but it seems a little bit of a hack. So I went and bought a specific cable for it that has the 1/8 inch and the 1/4 inch stereo out. So this actually works just fine. All told, with the warranty, because I always put the warranty on these things when I can, take a 2 or 3 year warranty if it's available. All told, it came in less than $500, which is not a ton of money to have a cheap, affordable easy to use, simple, lightweight PA system that I can use for solo acoustic gigs and things like that. So definitely a great addition to my arsenal. It's a step up above the pile that I was using. They both have their purposes and their uses, and if I was playing a true full gig, I could probably bring the PA system from my practice space, which is much more heavy duty, and maybe use some of these as supplementary units. These speakers definitely can be used independently of the mixer. It's a good investment from that perspective. The other cool thing about this is they all come with little carrying bags. So there's a carrying bag for each of the speakers, and there's a carrying bag for the mixer, which is super cool because it makes it just easier to carry and easier to store. What you kind of wonder about is why they didn't have some thought put into the cables, that maybe there'll be a little zipper flap side pocket or some way to contain the cables. Surely with the small lightweight bag that the mixing unit comes in, they could have easily designed space for the cables, so a little bit of oversight there. Plus, knowing that there's stereo out, maybe they should have included one of these cables for you as well, or had some other option like a 1/4 inch out. Having the aux in is pretty cool. I didn't really test that or think about it before I played the gig, but it might have been nice to just, have an iPod or some other sound device, your phone, whatever you use, your Sony Discman, your Walkman, I don't know, and then just be able to take a break. It was a 2-hour set, so maybe take a 15-minute break and just turn on some background music while you're doing that. That's an option too. So for a kind of all-in-one solo musician setup, it's pretty good setup, pretty good system. And with the stereo, with the left mono in, you could probably easily plug your guitar in there, or you could use a signal splitter or even a tuner pedal that has stereo out and bring that in that way. So therefore you could have 2 mics, so you could do guitar and a backing singer and your own vocals. So a couple of options there. There are next level up versions of this that have multiple channels on there, more channels on there if that's what you're looking for, so that is an option too. I played the gig for a couple of hours and I was very satisfied with the sound quality coming out of it. I'm not a pro audio guy, I'm not a sound guy, so this is kind of the use case for me. Is I wasn't going to have a sound guy there. I wasn't going to have somebody who knew how to operate a complex board. I wanted something that the audience felt they could hear and enjoy the set, and that the venue owner was satisfied, something that I could carry easily. And for those purposes, this definitely fit the use case that I had. So I'm not here to say this was the most robust material that's been built from, super durable, or that the components are the highest quality, or that I've compared it to other PA systems and found from a pure pro audio tech standpoint that it competes. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just saying for my use case as a solo acoustic instrumentalist playing those kinds of gigs, this is pretty cool. I play electric with my full band, probably wouldn't rely on this for that, but for what I was using it for, I think it did the job just admirably. So that's all I got for this week. If you like what you see on the channel, as always, do click the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when I post new content, and I'll see you again in the next video.
Erase my mind. The ghost are walking. Restless and told. So safe from fall. The sea is sleeping. Sand settles in the center of the ocean. We've kissed the beach. So safe from harm. Silence in the sound.